Today, I'm going to rank the Halo 5 arena maps from worst to best. Therefore, this isn't going to include any of the Warzone maps or any of the Forge-made maps that were in matchmaking over the lifespan of Halo 5. Obviously, this is going to be my opinion, so it's perfectly fine if your ranking of the maps would differ. But with that said, let's just get right into it. So starting with number 15, we have Riptide. And Riptide is a good starting point because it lets me point out my hatred of map remixes. While they do sometimes look cool, getting two very similar maps never felt that good to me, especially when 2 out of the game's 8 launch maps were remixes of other maps that were in the game. So obviously with that said, Riptide is a remix of Fathom and was added in the Infinity Armory update. The aesthetic is sort of an abandoned UNSC vibe, and while the map definitely looks cool, I always just felt it played like absolute ass. Although I will give them props for having a beam rifle on it, that's always fun. So next, number 14, we have Stasis. This one's another remix map. This one is a remix of Torque. It was added in the Memories of Reach update. This one is a symmetrical map with a snowy aesthetic which looks cool, but at the end of the day, I hated the way it played, just like I hated the map that it was built off of, and that's Torque. So this is one of the things that I hate most about map remixes, and that being that if you hated the original map, you're still probably going to hate the map remix, so now rather than getting a new map that you might enjoy, you're now stuck disliking 2 different maps. So number 13, we have Overgrowth. Overgrowth is a remix of Plaza that was added in the Cartographer's Gift DLC, and while I thought Plaza was pretty decent, this was just another map that I could never enjoy the gameplay on. I liked the way Plaza played, but just the little changes that Overgrowth did made it play like absolute crap to me, and it just pissed me off every time it came up in matchmaking. I will say though, the aesthetic of Overgrowth is pretty sweet. It's kind of like an overgrown human city, and I did like looking at the map, I just didn't like playing on it. I will say though that getting Invis and the Railgun was a pretty good time. At number 12 we have Regret. Regret's a remix of Truth, which was one of the maps the game launched with. And this one honestly could probably be a little bit higher just because I like Truth so much and this is just a remix of that, but I'm knocking it due to my hatred of map remixes. Overall it played well and it was nice having the fuel rod cannon on the map instead of just rockets again, but rushing overshield at the start of the game on the bottom was always a huge pain in the ass for me. And obviously I could have just been doing it wrong because I'm not very good, but I always hated how it seemed sort of like a 50-50 on who was going to get there first, and it pissed me off. The aesthetic of this one was an overgrown Covenant ship, and like a lot of the other map remixes, this one looks really sweet, but like I said, I just liked playing on Truth a lot more than I liked playing on Overgrowth, and that's how it ends up in this spot. So number 11, we got Torque. Torque was the first non-remix map to be added as DLC into the game, and while it was nice to not get another one of the stupid map remixes, I hated how the map played, and the little cylinders that went up and down just made for the map to be kind of unpredictable and pissed me off when you were trying to make routes and get to certain places. Probably was playing it wrong, but hey, I didn't like it, so I'm putting it at number 11. Number 10 is Tyrant. This is another non-remix map added into the game in the Ghosts of Meridian update. And to be honest, I never really played much of this map, but the sentiment that I was able to gather when I was writing the script was that it wasn't really well liked. It does look pretty cool though, and it's kind of got a Forerunner structure vibe going on. Moving on to the next one, we have Fathom at number 9. This is another one of the launch maps. It's kind of like an underwater research base, and this is one of my less enjoyed launch maps, although the aesthetic of the map is pretty cool. Although, if you have a phobia of underwater, maybe you didn't like this map. Alright, next up at number 8 is Molten. Now, I'm going to be a little hypocritical here because this one is a map remix of the rig, but I love the way the lava looks on it, and I found it was pretty fun to play for Slayer or even like Free For All. So number 7 is the rig. This is obviously the map that Molten was built off of. This was a launch map. It was decent enough, but I always remember Strongholds being a huge pain in the ass on this in the beginning of the game, so it's at number 7. For this next one, I'm going to lump 2 maps together, and that's for number 6 and number 5, we have Empire and Eden. These were both launch maps, and I'm lumping these 2 together because technically Eden is a remix of Empire, but since they share the same aesthetic and somewhat the same layout, they sort of just always blended together in my mind. Obviously there was different weapon setups and different spots of the map that were clearly different, but sometimes I would just get on the map and it would take me a second to realize exactly which one I was on. That's never really a good thing when you have 2 separate maps. Unlike most of the other map remixes, these 2 pretty much look the same, whereas all the other map remixes would kind of redo the aesthetic altogether. So I wasn't a huge fan how these had the same aesthetic, but they did have like a cool urban city vibe going on, and they weren't terrible maps, they both played fine. I will say that the middle stronghold on Empire was an absolute death pit, at least when I used to play it. And so because of all this, I'm going to put these maps at 6 and 5 like I said. Next up at number 4 we have Plaza. This is another launch map. This is another one with kind of an urban aesthetic, but this one was set at night. And this map was pretty solid for Team Slayer. Although I will say that strongholds at the beginning, for me, again, was a pain. With that middle zone on the bottom of the map, I always died going for that stupid thing. And I know there's probably some pro out there that's thinking in their head like, oh, you were just playing it wrong. But hey, that's just kind of how I felt about the map, so we have this one at number 4. Number 3, we have Mercy. And this was my favorite map that they added into the game as of DLC. And Mercy, if you don't know, is a remake of Haven from Halo 4. Which was a big free-for-all map in Halo 4, from what I understand, because I didn't really play a ton of Halo 4. But if you ever go back and look at Haven, it's got a cool layout for the map, but it kind of just looks boring as shit. So what they did was they took the good parts of Haven, being like the layout and the setup of the map, and they improved upon them. They made the map look way better and just way more enjoyable to play on, and it's really an awesome map for free-for-all. Next up at number 2, we have Coliseum. Coliseum is my highest ranked original map for Halo 5, and this was another launch map. It's kind of got a Forerunner facility vibe going on, and it was a symmetrical map that was fun for Capture the Flag, Slayer, free-for-all, basically a lot of stuff. The map's really well balanced, and like I said, it's my favorite Halo 5 original map. And last but not least, we have Truth. If you don't know what Truth is, it's a remake of Midship from Halo 2, and can you really go wrong with that? It's got the Covenant ship interior vibe going on, and it's amazing for free-for-all, good for Team Slayer, Capture the Flag, all that good stuff. I used to play GB free-for-all tournaments on this when Halo 5 came out for the first few months, and those were always a pretty good time, so this one kind of gets a knock up for me just from having good memories of doing that. Compared to Midship though from Halo 2, Truth is significantly larger, and that's to account for Sprint. So like I said, this is the best map for me in Halo 5, and yeah. Anyway, so that's just my ranking on the Halo 5 arena maps. I'd love to see how your rankings would differ in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like button, sub to the channel, or whatever else you want. You can also catch me on Twitch multiple times a week where I stream various games, hopefully a lot of Halo going forward. You can also follow me on Twitter where I mostly just bitch about not getting an invite to the Reach flight. Or you can join the Discord where, I don't know, I kind of do the same thing. Links for those can be found in the description below, and I'll see you guys next time.